Hello, everybody, and welcome to the Happy Hormone Club podcast. We're your hosts, Danielle and Angela Rocchio.
Hello, welcome.
This is so fun because this is the first ever episode, and we're here on a mission to empower women so that they can truly thrive in perimenopause and beyond. This is an issue so close to our hearts, and we are so excited to bring really valuable, inspiring, empowering information to all of you listeners out there so you can really thrive and feel high vibe in your bodies in a time of life that often gets a rep of being really challenging. And for a lot of us, it is.
Yeah, this can definitely be a sticky time in our lives. I know it very well. It can be sticky for many reasons. We're dealing with aging parents. We might be moms of young children as we are starting to have kids later in our lives. And it doesn't help when our hormones are shifting and changing and creating all of these sort of issues in our life, from not sleeping well to maybe having some weight gain that's affecting our confidence, or just a stubborn weight that won't budge. We're having maybe a little more anxiety that's creeping in, things that are shifting, and it's not really making the transition very easy. But we feel it can be easier. And one of the reasons why it can be really hard is because we aren't given a lot of answers in mainstream medicine, and we're also not given very thorough testing when it comes to hormones. So that's why we're here to talk about hormones from a very holistic point of view, and to share from mental, emotional, physical, spiritual, all the things.
So fun. It's also a time of life where the things that used to work before don't seem to work anymore.
Mm.
So I'm thinking of the weight area. This is where a lot of women can get frustrated because I'm eating less, I'm exercising more, and I'm just not seeing the results that I would have maybe 10 years ago. But the same thing kind of trickles into other areas of our life that isn't weight. So it could be sleep, right? We feel like we don't bounce back like we used to. I'm almost also envisioning like you go out for a night with your friends and it takes you 3 days to recover instead of two. Like things have just changed in our body. And there is so much that we can do to support ourselves if we have the right tools. And so we're just really excited to bring you with this podcast a new arsenal that you can pick and choose from with whatever you need and with whatever vibes with you so that you can feel your best, whether you're in this transition right now, whether you're preparing for it, or whether you're beyond it. So these types of conversations are not new to us. In fact, if you're listening, you may know us already if you have been a follower of the Adrenal Fatigue podcast, or as our business was formerly named, the Adrenal Recovery Collective. So we want to take some time during this episode to just share a little bit about who we are, where we came from. I know we've shared a little bit about our mission, but maybe we could just start with where we came from. What's the Adrenal Collective and what have we been up to these last 10 years? Because Angela and I, we have been business partners for almost a decade now, which is wild.
Mm. As the name suggests, we have been helping people recover from adrenal fatigue or burnout, whatever you want to call it, here for almost a decade now. And it's been such an amazing journey. And just organically, we've been shifting a little bit away from adrenal fatigue space as our own evolvement as women has occurred. So this is why it felt like a very natural transition to be here. But what we teach is all the same, really. It's all about helping women balance their hormones in a holistic way and really addressing the root causes of hormonal imbalance.
Exactly. So if you're new to the concept of adrenal fatigue, it's really just like burnout when your body's just not bouncing back and really being affected by long-term stress. And as you can imagine, this is something that affects all of us, and it's not something that's going away. We need to be managing our stress, nurturing our nervous system all the time through every phase of life. But what we
Mhm.
found naturally working at the Adrenal Recovery Collective, the people who were joining our programs, they were deeply affected by their hormones in a multitude of ways, but especially as they entered perimenopause and menopause, it made things so much worse. And if you're new to hormones, the one thing you need to know is that stress hormones and sex hormones are really intricately connected. So if you have a lot of stress, it really affects your sex hormones. And if your sex hormones are imbalanced, your stress hormones are likely imbalanced too. So the two are working in tandem. And so seamlessly, these things must go together. But
Mhm.
what we found is the struggle really got exacerbated when our stress was rampant. But the women we were already working with were in this phase of life. So we just decided we need to shout this from the rooftop. These women need support. And that's why we're here. And this is why we're starting this podcast today, to bring and meld these worlds together of nurturing our nervous systems and our bodies and our spirits with functional science and proven systems that can help you feel amazing through this time of life that is actually really special.
It really can be. Yeah. And I want to just piggyback on what you're talking about with stress and just point out that we're not just talking about stresses of the day and you're a stressed out person, right? There's stresses that come from the physical, from gut, from inflammation in the body, whether it starts with mental, emotional stress, whatever the root is, there's stress in a lot of different ways happening in your body. So it's not just like the stresses of the day to day that we're talking about, or it could be stress of trauma. So yeah, I just wanted to mention that it's so important for our nervous systems to be regulated. And it's something that we all could be working on and all improve in our lives so that we can actually thrive physically, mentally, emotionally, and spiritually. So that's why we're here to provide more options, more alternative options than the mainstream, because we believe that there's so much more that you can do to support your hormones than we're being taught. So we're excited to be here sharing this information of really what we've learned the hard way, figured out on our own for so many years, and especially in the adrenal fatigue space. That's why we felt so passionate about starting this business 10 years ago, is because we felt that there wasn't enough information out there. There wasn't enough help for those who really wanted to heal, but from the ground up, from the root, and really get to the root of the problem. Like Danielle said, we've been working with a lot of women in this stage already. And so it's really fun to be stepping into the perimenopausal space and helping women during this time that, again, yeah, can be very challenging, but it doesn't have to be. And we know that for sure. And we see it up. We see women's lives change all the time when we start looking at things holistic.
Totally. So we're really happy to be here. And this is really fun for us because we're stepping into this new podcast, this new branding with our business. And maybe it was a self-inflicted box that maybe we feel like we put ourselves in before, but stepping into this podcast because the nervous system and stress, there's so many different pillars and things that we could talk about that affect perimenopause and affect the nervous system. I feel like this can be such an expansive podcast where we could talk about business and finances and relationships, and maybe not on the adrenal fatigue podcast. We kept it strictly to more health stuff and some of the spiritual stuff, but mostly really health focused. But I feel like we can focus on our health and this like broader lens in this podcast, and bringing that kind of fun, expansive energy into this new podcast is feeling really exciting for us. So if you're listening today and excited to hear more, hit subscribe or follow so you stay up to date with all the new episodes. And if you're a follower coming back from the Adrenal Fatigue podcast and subscribing, thank you so much for your ongoing support and love. It really truly means so much to us, and we're glad to have you in this next chapter of the Happy Hormone Club and our business.
Yes, I just want to piggyback on that because we get so many wonderful messages in our email almost every day about how our podcast is really helping people. And that warms our heart so much and helps us to keep going and keep doing the work in the world that we're doing. I want to reiterate what Danielle said about sharing more about all the things, business, life, relationships, because it's all so connected, right? The stress that we have in our lives from our relationships, from people around us, and the money, all those things cause different stresses in our lives. So it's important that we talk about all of it. And it's really cool that we get to share a little bit more about the stuff that we're doing in our lives that's really fun for us. So we'd like to tell you a little bit about ourselves. I'm Angela. I'm a trauma-informed somatic life coach, and I've been helping women with the mental, emotional, spiritual components of health and wellness. I play with lots of different modalities to support our clients, like energy work, emotional freedom technique or tapping, meditation, and really ultimately helping women rewire and regulate their nervous systems, and really working on the mindset game, because we know that our thoughts impact the way that we feel. Our feelings, our emotions influence how we behave and the choices that we make in the world. And so it's also connected. I love what I do, and I love seeing the impact that these more deeper, maybe people think subtle changes can make in the physical body. It's fascinating what happens when people start letting go of old stories, when people start letting go of their trauma, big T trauma, little T trauma, which we can talk about some other day. And it's so amazing to see the shifts that happen actually very quickly, even people that have been in therapy for years, to be able to just bring awareness to something, shed something. It's amazing. And yeah, I'm excited to keep doing it. It's a big passion of mine, and I'll talk a lot about it here on the podcast.
So awesome. It's such amazing work, and we love you so much.
But this collective so amazing is my counterpart, Danielle. So I'm going to let her tell you some of her amazingness right now.
Thank you. Okay, so I'm Danielle Zies, and I'm a holistic nutritionist. I have been for over 12 years now, which is wild to say. Time is
Mhm.
flying. But I really nerd out on the science of nutrition. My specialty is nutrition for energy and nutrition for hormones. And that's what I've really spent the last 10 years of my career doing, is supporting people use food as fuel and in a simple, realistic way. And I'm really passionate at making it like simple and realistic and fit into your life, whether you're busy, whether you have a family, like how can you make this work for you for the long term? That's really close to my heart and soul. I want you to create a life that helps you feel amazing and fuels your dream life in a way that fits your lifestyle in a delicious way. But I also love melding that food science background with energy nutrition. And when I say energy nutrition, just like the thoughts and the vibe in our body that feeds our spirit and our soul. And so I'm also a Reiki practitioner, a certified NLP practitioner, which is neuro linguistic programming. So what this means is I can help you release blocks energetically or thought patterns in your body that create stagnant energy and just help you not feel in flow. So, what I really like to do is help people harness just incredible energy from food, but also their energy. So, a little bit of the science, a little bit of the woo, and that's totally my jam.
It's amazing. And I love how you keep it simple because we all need it to be more simple. And we've also been told that it has to be complicated and you should try this diet and that diet and all the things. And I think you've simplified it and made it really easy for our clients to be successful. And it's so helpful. And we love you.
Thank you. It's really fun. It's fun to do something you love. And I know you feel the same way, Angela. I feel like when we know how deeply effective something can be, nutrition is something that changed my life. And I know, Angela, you can say the same about the work that you did. It like truly changed our life to the point where we had to quit our day jobs and do this, create stuff for you and shout it from the rooftops because we know how much it can improve our lives. And we do find that the information out there is overcomplicated or hard to find or hard to sift through. So it really is just nice to simplify and give people really like the straightforward stuff that we have found really effective and that we know works and that we've seen work before our eyes. We've seen people heal over and over again after decades and decades of struggle or not getting clear information from their medical practitioners. They've come to us feeling so hopeless and so overwhelmed and so frustrated. And it's an honor and it's just such a pleasure to help people put their feet up and step into something that is so much lighter with incredible results just coming to them way easier than people ever imagined.
Yeah.
So that's what you
That
can
is
get here at the Happy Hormone Club. And we hope that you'll stay with us. We'll hope you'll like and subscribe, share with people, share with everyone. And yeah.
Yeah, we just want to have conversations that are supportive. And that's what you're going to find here is conversations where you're not going to feel so alone. You're going to know that you're still an awesome mom. You're doing great. And it's really just about the little changes and the little tweaks you can make in your life to allow you to step into something a little bit different, right? It's like changing the way that you look at something. It's changing maybe a little bit of your routine. It might be changing a tweak into your diet and what you're currently eating. And these little choices, these little tweaks stack up and make a big difference. And that's what we want to help you realize. And we want to have conversations about. And we want to have conversations that are just to help you, yeah, not feel alone, maybe shed some light, maybe allow you to let go and give yourself permission to let go of things, all the things. So we're excited to have those conversations here.
So we shared a bit about our professional backgrounds, but I think it would be nice for you to know a little bit about us just personally, because I think it will help you relate with us a bit more or not, but hopefully it does. So Angela, you're an incredible mom of two. Do you want to tell us a bit more about that?
Yeah. So I have a 9-year-old and a 3-year-old boy. I'm in my 40s. So I'm a 40s mom with a toddler, which is always very interesting. But we like to live a very free and lovely life here in the Central California, right on the coast. So we are, running around the chickens in the backyard, surfing, and just trying to have the most fun as possible as I can with my kids in the forest of the redwoods and just really just enjoying life as best we can while also being good to ourselves and good to other people around us. And I like to teach my kids about energy and the energetics of life and that what they give in the world comes back to them and all those wonderful things. So we're practicing what we're preaching. So that's a bit about me.
I love it. I always think I was visiting Angela one time in California and I thought, like, how cool is it that her husband gets up and they go surfing before work? What a concept. So fun. At least
Yeah,
for
it's a
me,
lovely
Canadian
place.
gal.
Yeah, a little bit different.
Yeah. So with that, I'm living in Toronto, Canada. So a lot less ocean and a lot less chickens. I live with my hubby and my daughter, who's about to turn 2, who's just the little joy of my life. And it's lots of fun. And I love this work that we do. I love spending time with my family. My sisters are my ultimate best friends, and I talk with them like probably way too many times throughout the day. I'm just that kind of gal. And
Mm.
I just love going for walks and getting a nice coffee or tea with my friends and family and just like spending time doing that sort of stuff. I love yoga. Used to really enjoy playing soccer. And for anybody who likes those types of sports, like that is definitely my jam. And yeah,
Awesome. So if any of this resonated, if you feel like this would be a helpful space for you in any way, we'd love for you to like, subscribe, all the things. Join us on Instagram. You can look in the show notes for that handle. And then if you want to learn how to work with us, we're starting a new cohort, which we're really excited about. This is where we walk you through our happy hormone system. This is a proven system that's helped hundreds of people over the last 10 years with weekly support, experts by your side to guide you the entire way. So if you want to learn more about that, check out that in the show notes as well. Thank you so much for listening to our first podcast here at the Happy Hormone Club.